Hey people, this is Mike June II, and I have been tagged by IronFury. Most of you who subscribe to me should know him since it's probably where you came from. Uh, so yeah, I have to say my top 5 favorite video game. So let's just get this thing started. Mike June II's top 5 favorite games. That was a horrible starting thing. Anyway, number 5. Pokemon Colosseum and, give it a second, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. These were really fun games in my opinion. Now, I'm not counting this as 5 and 4, but they're technically the same game, just barely anything different with the other one, which is really funny because they said XD was supposed to be like a different game. Like, the whole thing was supposed to be different, but it was still supposed to be a sequel too, which was weird, but either way, it was a very fun game for me. Mostly because most Pokemon games are either just some sort of spin off like Pinball or the card thing, like the card game for Game Boy. But this was different. They didn't do the whole gym thing. They didn't do, they didn't do any of that. No contest, any of that bullshit. They just kind of went with, what if someone's, had to base his journey off of, catching these Pokemon that have been forced to be turned into something called Shadow Pokemon, and then bring out the good in them, which is really fun to actually do. I mean, it was annoying, but it made the game more difficult. And it was also nice seeing, what Pokemon would be like if it was in, its 3D thing. I mean, we've seen like Pokemon Stadium, but this was a lot different and a lot more fun too. Plus, one of the bigger things, as you can see in the picture, was the EVs. It wasn't a main picture, but it did be your starters. In the first game, Umbreon and Espeon were your first two starter Pokemon. In the second game, you started out with an Eevee, which you could have later point transform into any of the 5. Which was really cool because it actually gave you a choice to pick instead of the game before it. But still, the game before it was a good choice. Having a Psychic and a Dark type as you start the game is just a very great ideal. And it was just fun going through the story, curing the Shadow Pokemon, and just doing as you did. Any other Pokemon game, but with just a different story, different, ideal on how to fix things, which is why it's my number 5. Number 4. Dark Cloud. Now, this was the first game, well, I don't know if it's the first game, but it was the game to show the PlayStation 2's capability, and my first PlayStation 2 game. This was an amazing game, mostly for its music for me. I love the music in this game. Hell, the third dungeon in this game made me cry as a kid, no joke. I don't know why, it just brought out something which made me feel sad. The story is, well, it's not the greatest story in the world, but it is original if you ask me. To a point at least. Anyway, you pretty much go through dungeons, you have to collect these parts as you fight demons, build the city back together that's been destroyed by a genie, and then, usually get an item where you can fight the last boss, plus in every city you get a new character, which you add to your team, which wasn't that special since they didn't emphasize it on too much, but certain things you have to do in dungeons. But other than that, it was a really fun game for me, especially as a kid, and it was very different. I didn't like Dark Cloud 2 or Dark Cloud Chronicles, because it seemed more childish, even though the graphics were hyped up a bit. Number 3. Infamous. Yes, I love this game. I don't know, I love the ideal of lightning, because a lot of games would probably do something like fire and ice, but you don't see too much lightning, from my opinion, which they've actually did later on in Infamous. And I also like the ideal of having good electricity, blue electricity if you're good, and red if you're bad. That was pretty interesting. Plus the different story you can get from different, ideals. Yeah. I don't know why, but the fighting in this game is just so much fun. You could either shock your opponents or beat the shit out of them, even though going front range would just probably get you decimated. Having to find different things to do to defeat your opponent, it was just so much fun. Plus the fact that when you start playing out and you start kicking the, main villain's asses, you're sitting there going, oh yeah, I'm invincible now, there's no way I can, and then you get a new group of enemies. It's like, holy shit, these guys are a lot tougher than the last ones. It was fun, it was challenging, it was, a kind of game I haven't played in a long time. And it was just, it brought out the fun in games for me, yet still having a nice, twist to it at the end, because the story is just incredible, I love it. Especially the twist at the end, it was just amazing. But, Infamous 2, looks like it's coming out, is going to be fucking horrible. I mean, it looked like they did a lot that needed to be done, but they're completely changing Cole the character, giving him black hair and making a voice. It has a voice actor. It makes it sound like he's doing it in his living room. God, it's horrible. I just hope it turns out better than it looks like. But still, Infamous is a good game, and if I say you have to get a PlayStation 3 just to play this game, I recommend you get it. Number 2, Red Alert 2. Oh my god, as a kid I loved this game. My cousin introduced me to this game, and well, it was fun. I never played a game like it before at the time, so it was technically new to me, RTS games. And it was, fun being able to, build your forces up, select them, send them here. You could be strategic about it, or you could just be all full out, attack them, It was, it made you either say, do you want to make it easy for you by taking a little bit of time, or would you like to rush it with huge forces? And half the time, even if you wanted huge forces, you had to rush out with it. Plus, the music in this game, I didn't notice it as a kid, but it's incredible. I recommend anybody look up Hell March 2. It is an amazing, oh god, it's an amazing track, and it's supposed to be the beginning of it. I didn't, looking at the graphics in this, not really the graphics, I mean, I like the idea of how it's kind of like they're using sprites in a 3D world, very interesting, But the idea is that if you build up certain forces, you gotta take certain characters, you gotta build buildings to get other buildings you want to build. It's very strategic, very fun, And as a kid, I love this game, and, well, sadly enough, I haven't actually beaten the game. I've had so many computer crashes as a kid that I just don't have my main files for it, so what I'll probably do is re-download this game on my laptop and then, well, play through it again. Because Red Alert 3... I'm saying this for almost every game, but Red Alert, except for, XD, but Red Alert 3 just wasn't that good of a game for me. It was fun, but it just wasn't fun enough. Now, my number 1 top game of all time, gonna be kind of surprising, but Mario Tennis Power Tour. Now, I hate Mario games that just, try to abuse the whole sports thing. I mean, come on, do we need every fucking sport to be played by Mario? Really? But this game did something different. You didn't play as Mario, and it wasn't the whole, thing. That's what I thought this game was going to be when I got it. But it wasn't. You actually play as either two kids, Max or Ace, which you can rename their characters. And you're going through, fighting your way from the bottom to the top so you can get to the highest ranking. And then you can go to this tournament, or it's called Island something. It's been a while since I played. And then you just beat and you can pretty much, you beat the tennis things, and then you go back and you, just go on from there, fighting these mass players that you find out in the beginning that you want to find out who they are. And it's so much fun. And they add something new too called Power Shots, which is just so interesting, You do mini games in the game to actually give you certain abilities. You can either recover balls that you missed, like tennis balls, if they hit them too far, you can't reach them. You can either recover them, or if you got a good shot on it, you can smack the fuck out of it and just have it just totally either kill your opponent or give it so that the next time you hit, if they deflect it, you hit it back, there's no way they're going to be able to get it. A lot of fun this game is. And it's so simple, too. Too many games, are so uppy about how complicated they fucking are. But this game isn't that complicated. It can be so much fun. Which is why it's my favorite game of all time, So, yeah. My top 5 favorite video games. Thanks, anybody, for watching. Don't know who I'm going to tag yet, but I'll find out somebody. So, yeah. Catch you guys later. This is Mike Jr. II, signing out.